So as you guys can see, since my last video, I have a lot less hair now.
Alright, today is the day that I'm going to be buzzing my hair.
And we've made a little bit of money. In this video, I'll just be talking you guys through where the store is at now after 4 months of running it on my own, as well as break down the numbers and how they've looked like month over month. I also want to thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers. I'm a bit late here, but at the beginning of this year, we were at less than 10 subscribers, and now we are at 1,620. I'm very used to making these videos for myself and to look back at my progress as an entrepreneur. But as of recently, I have gotten tons of messages of people asking when the next video is coming out, when am I going to post another video. So with that being said, let's get started. Over the last 4 months, from July to now November 26th, we have made over $160,000 in revenue. So as you guys can see here, from July to November 25th, we have made over $161,000 in revenue. And so I'll walk you guys through what each stage of the process looked like month over month and talk a little bit about the challenges and so forth. So starting off with the month of July, I think that this was when pressure was at the highest because of the fact that the business was now handed off to me. It was now my turn to run everything on my own and take action on everything that I had been taught during the Miami challenge. And so I was really feeling like, now I need to make something happen. And in addition to that, because of the YouTube channel and all the recognition that we brought to the store, people were just starting to absolutely rip everything one-to-one. I think the average ads that were on Facebook for this product was anywhere between 200 to 300, if I'm not mistaken, and that went and shot up in the month of July to close to 1,000. And I was looking over this number and seeing it rise on a daily basis and looking at how people were just taking everything one-to-one for their own, my ads, absolutely everything. And slowly I was just losing my shit. But eventually I just came to the conclusion that business and competition are complementary. Now, obviously it was amplified, but it would be in my best favor to go ahead and focus on what I could control as opposed to focusing on what I couldn't. And so that's what I went ahead and did. And so here you can see we had like this upwards trend where from July to August, we went from 33K in revenue to 58K in revenue. And so in that time frame, really what I was able to do was just make some CRO tweaks, adjust my offer a little bit, and really focus on parts of the market that really weren't being tapped into as much. Now, going into the actual month of August itself, all I was doing here was just doubling down on what was already working and doing more of what gave me a little bit of success to begin with. I was creating systems or finding ways to be a little bit more efficient, tracking certain metrics more carefully, making some changes to the landing page, and overall just trying to move with speed. Now, after that record-breaking month, the next month, which was September, we went from 58K to 34K in revenue. Now, this was actually when I hit my first plateau because what was working in the month of July and August was no longer clicking in the month of September. I thought all I had to do was just make more creatives, continue bumping budgets, start to, delegate certain tasks to other people. But in the middle of the month, I not only realized that things were slowing down a bit, but that I was more in the negative than I was actually making money. So I started to be a little bit more efficient with my spend. I scaled things back a little bit. So I was spending a lot less money on Facebook, but I was trying to be a lot more intentional with everything that I was putting out. Regardless, things didn't just pick right back up again. As a matter of fact, the store's revenue has been on a slow decline month over month since that peak in August. And starting the month in October, I actually ran into an issue where Google blocked my site. And while this did get fixed and there wasn't anything wrong on my behalf, this did end up killing the momentum that my ad account had for a few days. And we ended off that month with a little over $20,000 in revenue. Now, in full transparency, after this issue in October, I felt the need to really take a step back and reevaluate everything that I was doing. Right around this time, I had picked up a book I read when I was 16 and I was just getting started with online money and entrepreneurship. And this book was called Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. In this book, there is a personal identity audit where you go ahead and answer these very in-depth questions about your life and the kind of person you are to figure out who you want to be and the kind of life you want to live. For the next 2 weeks, my schedule became very simple. I would do a little bit of work in the morning and then I would spend the entirety of my day coming here to this very park where I would read, I would journal, and write out anything that came to my mind and thinking about all the things I would like to accomplish, who I want to be, and how that person would carry himself now. And I do want to emphasize that I'm not the biggest fan of constant thinking. To a certain extent, it can be harmful and you can really start to confuse rumination for reflection. But at a certain point, after 3 months, I felt like I really hit a plateau, and the only way for me to continue pushing forward would be to go ahead and get clear on the actual future. As I'm editing this video, I realized that I forgot to talk about the most important part of any business, which is how much you're actually taking home and what your profit actually looks like. And while the answer is pretty disappointing for me personally, I still think that it is undeniably important to talk about and be transparent about, because you can show a $500,000 screenshot, you can show a $250,000 screenshot on Shopify, but if you're not operating your business at healthy margins, then it all becomes irrelevant and doesn't matter to begin with. So after about 4 months of running the store on my own and doing over $160,000, I've only actually been able to profit around $12,000 or so, give or take. I'll definitely make sure to include the screenshot somewhere here. Regardless, the profit is low, and I think that out of the last 4 months, this has definitely been the most frustrating component to running an e-commerce store. I mean, ecom in general is known for having very low profit margins because of the amount of money you spend on Facebook, your cost of goods. And for me personally, it's really been the part that I've been trying my best to fix. At the most basic level, the root problem here is not having a offer that can profitably sustain what's being spent on Facebook. And in addition to that, going hand in hand is not having creatives that can allow for higher levels of scale on Facebook and more money being spent on the platform. This has definitely been the missing piece of the puzzle. I mean, even if I were at like a 20 or 25% profit margin, I'd be making so much more money right now, but I'm not. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, I think this is why it is so crucial to focus on your inputs, because the actual results that you get from any endeavor you follow, whether you're trying to make it to the NBA, whether you're trying to, get a promotion at a job, or you're a business owner, the results will always fluctuate and the results will always be out of your control. You can't control if tomorrow, you make $5,000 with your e-commerce store. You can't control if you make $20,000 with your e-commerce store. That is out of your control, but the only thing you can control is your inputs and your mindset and how you are approaching the problems that appear on a day-to-day basis, and how you are showing up for the things that you actually need to get done. When you say you're gonna make ads, you make the ads. When you say you're gonna, go on Fiverr to find an editor for your business, you go ahead and do that. And not breaking those self-promises that you make with yourself. Because the more promises that you can keep with yourself, the higher your conviction is going to be. And if the higher your conviction is, the more faith you'll have in the chances that you continue to see things through and you continue to push in your journey. The chances of that, when your conviction is high and when your faith is high, is going to be much higher as well. And so, yeah, I definitely think that I've been, really trying to do my best to get this business to where I want it to be at, which is making anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000 a month and being able to profit between 25 to 30%. And maybe it's this product that's going to allow me to do that, or maybe it's going to be another product that lets me do that. And really, those numbers would just be the beginning. The potential in this industry is
It's just massive. You can do so many things. You can go down so many avenues, whether that's, start an agency or, try to build something with a hefty exit at the very end. All these different routes that you can take and so many foundational skills that you learn. And, not too many of you guys know this, but I'm not going to college right now. And in some way or another, running this business is my form of college. That 50K, that 60K, that 100K, whatever money it may be that people pay to go to college, I've been paying it in the form of fucking Facebook. The thousands of dollars that I've spent on Facebook and gain real life experience running a business, that is my form of education. And reading books and, buying programs and courses and just endlessly trying to be a student of the game. That is the most important part in my opinion. And yeah, I think this video wouldn't be complete if I didn't talk a little bit more about this. I guess the last thing I would want to say here is that focus on your inputs, guys. Focus on your inputs. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video. Make sure you focus on the things you can control. Don't blame anything externally. Always make sure to point the finger at you. Show up for yourself so you can show up for the world. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is in ecom now, is to just continue pushing along, knowing that I am responsible for, not making the amount of money I want to make, and that I can, get to the point where I want to get to if I just do the things required. And I firmly believe, I said firmly like 4 times, I firmly believe that the best is yet to come. I am at the very beginning of my whole journey in YouTube, in entrepreneurship, in everything. And so I think that the best is yet to come, and I cannot be more excited. So enough talking. I hope you guys took some value away from this video, and it was useful. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.